Welcome to Mentor Monday. Mentor Mondays, your weekly microdose. I got one of these little lozenges in. It got me there for a second. Let me get rid of this thing. All right, it's gone. Welcome to Mentor Monday. Mentor Monday is your weekly microdose of encouragement, inspiration, and miracle grow on your potential as a coach. As we're making it in, for those of you who have not been with us, this is what we always do. I'm all the way over here in a studio in California. So important for us to not only come on live to help you as an aspiring coach, but I want to connect with you. I'm not interested in just being a talking head over here. So make sure that you let us know that you are here. Tell us where you're joining us from, what you're excited about. Go ahead and throw that into the comments right now. I want to say hello to a couple of people. Chris from upstate New York. Welcome, Chris. Charlotte from Texas. Who else is in the room? I can't see you out there, but you can see me. So if you would just jump into the chat. Also, do us a huge favor, like this post and share it. It's the only thing that we can do to tell Facebook and YouTube that we're doing a good job. So if you're finding that we're doing things that are helpful for you, we would really appreciate it. There's Sandy joining us from New Jersey. Renee, who is from everywhere, full-time RVer. I like it. Welcome, Renee. Anybody else that would like to say hello to us as you're making it into the room? Just two huge favors. One, let us know that you're here. Jump in the chat, say hello to us. Tell us what you're excited about. Also, you can post your questions in there and I will respond to them. But also like this post and share it. Tell us Facebook and YouTube that we're doing a good job and we're being helpful to people. Jose from Michigan. Welcome, Jose. Anybody else that would like to say hello before we jump in? So for the last couple of weeks, I think this is actually week number 4. Let me see if I can actually remove that really quick. Week number 4, and this is where we have been focused. We've been focused on how to fix your bad coach marketing. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been looking at your website. We've looked at social media. We've looked at some of your core messaging. This week, we are going to be looking at, we're going to be looking at how to get website visitors and social media followers to take action. And when I'm talking about taking action, what we're really talking about is creating irresistible calls to action. And those can be anywhere. They can be your website. They can be in your media. It can be in your emails. What we really want, because what I find for most coaches is that they are doing a lot of ineffective things in their marketing. One of those places that's incredibly ineffective in the call to action realm. Matter of fact, most coaches are not even putting calls to action out there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick definition of that. And then we're going to go all the way to the end. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples and show you how to correct some of these things. Let me say hello to just a couple more people before we jump in. Irene, who says, just starting coaching, joining us from Chile. Welcome. Betty from Florida. Welcome. Joan is joining us from Bakersfield. And Irene says, thanks for all your content. I appreciate that. Well, cool. Well, let's just jump in, shall we? First of all, what is a call to action? Because if you are going to get someone, because some of you may be wondering, why did all these people, because what coaches like to do, they like to go behind the scenes in their Wix account or in their Squarespace account or whatever, and they'll look at their analytics. Like, I'm going to be all like, I'm going to see what people are doing. And so you'll see things like bounce rate, and you'll see a certain percentage of people who come on your website. But do you ever wonder why they didn't do anything? Why they didn't join your email list? You ever wonder why they didn't contact you? Why they didn't buy anything? Why did they come on your social media and look around and they didn't do anything? They didn't touch anything. You know, the only thing that you have is the analytics that says someone came on there, but they didn't actually do anything while they were on there. So the last couple of weeks, that content stuff that we've been talking about choosing a niche and all of that other stuff, messaging, it's going to be incredibly important there. But one of those anchors that you've got to have on on your website, on your social media, in your email, anything that you're communicating, even your webinars, anything that you're doing out there for your business, is that you've got to have a strong call to action. That's what moves someone from being a visitor to taking a step towards a relationship with you and ultimately becoming a client. And what we call those things in marketing lingo is that we always call it a call to action. But what is it? And sometimes you'll see CTA. And so CTA is just, if you hear me say it, is call to action. But what is a call to action? Well, let's define it for you really quickly. A call to action is any word, phrase, or sentence that encourages the reader to take a specific action. And in some cases, those words or phrases are embedded inside of a graphic, maybe on your website or in your social media. And so you can really use a CTA in an email. You can use it in an email subject line. You can use it in websites. You can use it in your social medias. See, the thing is that a call to action, if someone saw it, like some of you saw my email come across tonight, and if you saw the latest one, it says, I just went live. Where are you? You know what that was? It was a call to action because it was getting your attention. It was standing out compared to all the other emails that you've gotten probably today. Probably didn't sound like that. They probably weren't very urgent. And you know what happened? If they weren't urgent, if they didn't grab your attention in some kind of a way, you didn't open them. You probably still have unopened email right now, unless you're one of those people who just hits the select button and just changes everything to red, even though you didn't actually open it up and read it. See, I'm standing out right now to many of you for a specific reason. And it's because I used a call to action that got your attention and you opened it and then you ended up coming here, right? So what we want to figure out is how to do this better. We understand that a call to action is an invitation to connect at a deeper level. That's what we have to understand. Why is a coach going to use a call to action on their website? Why are you going to use one on your website, on your social media, inside of your email, inviting someone to a webinar, any of those kinds of things? Because you're inviting them to connect at a deeper level. That is an invitation. So anything that we're saying, hey, I want you to come here and I want you to listen to this YouTube right now that I'm doing. I want you to go to my Facebook Live right now and listen to what I'm talking about. You know why? Because this is giving you, this is why I'm doing it, gives you the ability to connect with me. Because when you comment in there, I'm going to read it and I'm going to answer questions and all of those other things. See, this is why as a coach, you're going to use call to actions because it's an invitation for them to connect with you at a deeper level than just going on your website or whatever. Now, the other thing is that we understand is that a CTA is also an invitation for you to serve them better. You know why? Because if you just went on our website today, like, I'm using me as an example today, okay? If you just went on my website today and you just kind of read a couple of things, I didn't really serve you that well, probably. We didn't connect. I probably didn't serve you. This is why your social media isn't enough. Your website's not enough. What do we need to do? We need to connect with people and we need to serve them. If I connect with you personally, then you can have a judgment call about whether you like me or not, whether you think that I am helpful enough. If I'm serving you in some kind of way, well, you know what that means? If I'm truly serving you and you appreciate it, then that sends us down the road towards probably having a relationship in some form. Now, in the very beginning, you're not trying to buy anything, but eventually, if you're, like for us, if you're going to become a coach, hopefully I get a fair hearing, right? Same thing for you as a coach. That when you create calls to action, you create invitations for people to connect with you, and you can create spaces where you can serve people, whether that be through your email list or through your social media or through your webinars or whatever. All of these things ultimately build rapport for you so that one day, when those people are ready to work with a coach, well, your name's going to be called out of, it's not going to be some big hat and they're like, well, who can help me today? They're going to think of Joan. They're going to think of Irene. They're going to think of Betty. They're going to think of Jose. They're going to think of Renee. So this is what we're hoping is that the things that we are doing. But what do we need to do? We need to call them to action. Take an action today. It may not be an action that today you're supposed to become a client, and maybe take an action of join my email list so that I can connect with you and I can serve with you. But there are really about 5 things that make an irresistible call to action. And I'm going to tell you what they are, but then I'm going to show you, because there's a lot of really bad call to actions that are out there that are actually very weak. So first of all, an irresistible call to action is clear and specific. And when I say clear and specific, what I really mean by that is, what do you want them to do? You're telling them to do something, right? That is what a call to action is. Do something. And so when people come on your website or they go on your social media, they don't know what to do unless you tell them. What would you like them to do? Here's another way that I'd fill in the blank. What is their next step? The next step may be uncomfortable for me to be asked to become a client because I don't know you. Think of it like dating. What would be the first step? If you saw someone, let's imagine we're going back in time and none of you are married, you're younger, you're in that mode though, but you're looking and you're interested, and you go into a coffee place and you see someone who's a barista and you're like, wow, that person's really attractive. I guarantee you're not going to ask them to go out on a date the first time that you talk to them. What are you going to do? Well, you're probably going to find out what their name is. At a certain point, you're going to exchange what? You're going to exchange some niceties. You're going to exchange some, at some point, you'll exchange a phone number, whatever. And so what is that happening? Well, in the very beginning, it's going to be a small exchange, but you've got to start talking about your intentions, right? You got to start talking about some things. What do you want them to do? You got to talk about it. You got to say what is appropriate for that time. So we got to be clear and specific about that. What are they going to get if they act now? So it's got to be clear and specific, which means that you got to tell them what you want them to do and what are they going to get if they act now. And the second part of an irresistible call to action is it needs to have high value. When I say high value, it means to be something that they actually want. So if you put something on your social media, you put something in your bio of your social media, you send someone an email, you tell them to join a webinar, you tell them to subscribe to your email list. Well, it needs to actually be something that people want. So an example of something that people want is that you help them solve a problem quickly. So when I go on a website and it's got a digital download of something, I don't want to waste people's time. I want to talk about the problem that they are already thinking about, and maybe I offer them a tool. Maybe I offer them 3 steps to something or 5 steps to something, or maybe it's a free video, or maybe it's a free course, or maybe it's a free whatever it is. But what it is, though, is that it's got to have value to them. Otherwise, they're not going to have any exchange with you. So call to action needs to be clear. What are they going to get? And secondly, it needs to be high value. Third thing is that it needs to be urgent or instant. And when I say urgent or instant, what I really mean is that it means it's got to be scarce in time or quantity. So if I just say, you want to be a client, probably not going to get much on that. If you say something like, I only have 2 slots left in my client list, and I'm reaching out to you because I've been thinking of, because we've been talking, you know what? I only have 2 spots left. You know what that means? Quantity. Or I need to know by Friday. Thursday's the deadline for my webinar. Are you in? I know you've been thinking about it. See, what am I doing? I'm not manipulating people. You have to understand is that people need urgency in their life. There's a reason why they've been putting things off. And so scarcity is a way to actually create urgency. But another thing that people look for in their life is instant gratification. So if somebody knows that they can download something instantly, then they get immediate satisfaction. So here's the thing. Most people are not necessarily interested in joining someone's email list, but if you give them a freebie that they do want, that has high value, that helps them solve a problem immediately, then the percentage of chance for them to sign up is a lot higher when they know that they can get immediate download of whatever it is just for signing up for your email list. See, there's always an exchange that's going on there to make it happen. 4 is this, is that it needs to be emotionally triggering. Here's a saying for you. If it doesn't move someone emotionally, they will not move. People are not emotionally manipulated. It's not really about that at all. You have to understand is that the emotions are what actually makes somebody make a decision. There are no people who make decisions that are purely analytical, because even being analytical has an emotion attached to it. There's a certain security. There is certainty in what? And so certainty what? It feels like something. So everyone makes an emotional decision. And people make decisions much more quickly and much more readily when their emotions are touched in some kind of a way. So think about it with any commercial that you watch. When your emotions are tied to it, there's this cool Instagrammer that I watch. His name's Jimmy Darts. He shows videos of going out, and it's amazing how he goes out and he helps strangers and gives them money. And it's usually goofy stuff that he does. And he gives them money, and it always seems to land on the right people. It's amazing. So the other day, my daughter and I will watch it. She's 10 years old, and we love to watch the next ones that come up. So he's walking around, and he says something. He says something to this guy. He says, "You're amazing." And the guy goes, "What would make you tell me that I'm amazing?" And he said, "Because there's no other fingerprint on the planet like yours." So he goes up and talks to him, and the guy's like, "This is just one of those days when I just want to quit everything." And he's a barber, but he's homeless and he has nowhere to work, but he's got all this gear with him. And he says, "Well, could you give me a haircut on the right here on the sidewalk?" And the guy gives him a haircut, and he asks the guy, "How much is it going to cost?" He says, "Well, I usually charge 20, but I'll take 10, Well, he ends up giving him $500, but then he creates a GoFundMe that was like, "Hey, let's help him get off the street and get started." $20,000 goal on his GoFundMe. Within just a couple of hours, he had already raised about $50,000. What was it? Touch the emotions and quick response. That's how quickly. Now, granted, the guy's got like millions of followers, but I'm saying that people were already contributing to something very quickly. Why? Because they were emotionally touched and it moved them and they wanted to take action. See, news articles in different places, news sites out there understand what a call to action is, because they get paid by advertisers and they need click-throughs. They need you to click on their article. So they're masters. If you ever want to see what some call to actions look like, it's stuff like this. 2 little girls use Wi-Fi for school and were almost taken from their mom at Taco Bell. So who all is that going to speak to and trigger? Probably parents in general, moms and dads, going to be outraged by something like that. This is what we say, "Oh, this person's triggered." Well, that's in the negative sense. We can kind of get someone to have a negative emotional reaction, but I want to touch someone's heart. I want them to get emotionally engaged in their transformation and in whatever they say that they want. And so look around at some of the news sites and different things that are out there. It'll give you an idea that they use emotionally triggering words and sometimes to the negative, but we want to use it to the positive. 5 is this, is that an irresistible call to action is asking someone to take appropriate risk. And when I say appropriate risk, what I mean is that the ask is equivalent to the level of rapport that you've built. So let's imagine this. Let's imagine that we're just at some party and you meet somebody and you talk for like an hour, like, "Wow, I really like that person. She's really great." And you exchange phone numbers, or you exchange social media at the very least. But would you, when you met the person the night before, would you were like, "Hey, I got stuck at work. Would you? I know we just met last night. Would you pick up my child from school because I know I'm going to be late over there?" No, you wouldn't do that. Now, you might not do that for dangerous, reasons of danger, but we know the things that we can ask of people, right? That there are certain friends that when backs against the wall, if you needed money, if you needed help with your children, if you needed a ride to work, there's different people who you would never, even though you've known them for years, there are people that you would never ask them to give you a ride to work or let you borrow their car or drop your kids over there. And this is because, what do we understand? Is that the level of ask is equal to the level of rapport that we have with people. It's equal to the level of trust. And so what we understand is that in a call to action, in the exact same way that we understand this, is that when people are just getting to know us, we're going to have small ask, and then we're going to have medium ask, and then we're going to have high level ask. And it's going to be appropriate level of risk, because it is risk for that person when it comes to working with you, because they don't know if you've got the goods or not. You have to establish trust with them. They have to like you. They have to believe that you can help them. This is why we put people on our email list. It's why we create webinars. It's why I'm doing a Facebook, YouTube live right now for every one of you. What am I doing in this? Well, I'm establishing trust. For one, I can connect with you guys. I'm live. I'm not hiding behind some website somewhere. I can be found. I'm connecting with people. If you ask a question, I'm going to answer it. What else is there? Well, you can decide whether or not you like me. You can see me in all my flaws, because I'm going to trip over my words pretty much every time I'm going to make a mistake. That's pretty much a normal kind of thing that you're going to see. But you're also going to see my expertise. I can tell you I've made over $1 million online, but I'm showing you with no strings attached, right? No strings attached. You can take this information, never talk to me again. And that's the thing, is that some of you are watching right now. You're not going to leave a comment. You're not going to do anything today, but maybe in the future. See, that what happens is that right now, the ask, at the very least, I ask you to come on here live. It's a low level ask. Now, you got an email from me because at some point I asked you for your email address, didn't you? You might have signed up for a free course or just to get on our email list. See, what we understand is that a small ask is a small exchange, like an email address for a digital download. So in any one of the asks, we are doing an exchange. Don't just go live out there and not have information from people. You got to start small. And usually people, if it's worthy of them, if they see the value in it, this is why we got to talk about things in value. They'll give you their email list, but don't put stupid things in their inbox. Put stuff in there, talk about problems that they're interested in solving and everything else. So a small ask allows you to do an exchange like an email address. You know what? Somebody can give you their email. They can unsubscribe from your email. The only thing they got to get over is that you're not going to spam them. So we need to have a little bit of trust, at least a little bit of equity built, so that they don't think that we're going to spam them. But that's a small ask. And you know what I'm going to do in that email list? I'm going to send people stuff that they need, that they want, that they desire to have. I'm going to give them a lot of value in that email list. I'm going to give them a lot of value through that email list, with the digital downloads or anything else, any kind of communication. I'm going to seek to connect, and I'm going to seek to nurture a relationship and serve them really well, so that I stay in their inbox. If I don't go live on a Monday, we always have a bunch of emails coming in. Where's Paul at? I thought we had a Mentor Monday today. People who've never bought anything before, but they are expecting, because of relationship, hey, if I just show up and I quit showing up on Mondays, then people get concerned and they start sending us emails. This is an interesting thing of how that dynamic of earning trust. And that's on the and that's on a high level. That's on the, what we'd say is on the small ask. But see, then you go to a medium ask, which might include getting someone's cell number, or it might be a nominal fee for someone to join a webinar or a group coaching thing. So that what happens is, again, the level of trust that we have is going to equal what I can ask of someone. What is the ask? It's the level of rapport that I've already built. Now, it doesn't stop me from every now and then asking something that might be a little bit higher level ask, because you don't know how quickly the relationship is progressing. And sometimes it happens really fast. But you're going to have a call to action that is a small ask. Hey, email list. Hey, free webinar. Hey, low cost webinar. Hey, group coaching thing. Hey, free course. Hey, cheap course over here. All of these kinds of things that we have that, again, give them the opportunity for them to connect with us and for us to serve them. That last ask is going to be the big ask that usually involves money, and is for people that you've nurtured a relationship with. Now, what's all this stuff look like? Well, let me help you fix your CDAs, because this is what's going on most of your social media and websites out there. It's something that looks like this: weekly newsletter. Subscribe to my email list. Now, listen, I'm not trying to be insulting to anyone, but if you have this on your website, there's a reason why no one's signing up for your email list. Isn't it obvious with everything that we're talking about why people are not signing up to email lists? No, you know what? No one wants to subscribe to your weekly newsletter. I guarantee you. No one wants to subscribe to your blog. No, thank you. No one wants to subscribe to your YouTube. No one wants to schedule a free session. You know what's wrong with that? What did we say a while ago? Is it clear what someone is going to get? Is there value in it? Can they see value? When you say free session, you're already saying that it has no value to it, right? So we don't understand. Free, 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 free. Well, if you've got that much time on your hands and everything that you're doing is free that you're offering me, and this is something that you offer that is paid, it's your highest end service, and you're giving it to me for free, all I got to do is just give you my email address. Well, it probably doesn't have perceived value for people. No one wants to subscribe to my email, get email updates. No one wants that. You haven't convinced them. What did we say? Needs to be clear what it is that you want them to do. Needs to be clear what they're going to get, and it needs to be something of value to them. It needs to have some urgency, and it also needs to have some scarcity about it. You know, all of these things that we're talking about. So how do we fix this? Well, you can fix it. First of all, we quit doing this. But if I wanted to fix something, look at this call to action. Now, here's the thing. It's generic because I wasn't sitting around super designing something. But what does this say? 10 ways to boost your sales. Instant download. Enter your email address. That's all they've got to do. Now, what is it doing? Well, presumably, this is for someone who wants to boost their sales. That's the first thing. I know my niche. I know what they want. I know what problems that they have. I know what they need to, the desires that they have, the problems that they need to solve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make downloads, not stuff that people don't want. Sometimes coaches are still trying to sell sandwiches that no one is ordering. If you're going to create a digital download or an email list or a webinar or any of those things, you better know your ideal client's problems and the things that they want to solve, and then give them something that can help them. It's 3-step tool to whatever. It's 5 steps to whatever. It's some kind of an assessment or whatever, or it's a free course to help you accomplish something. Hey, take my 3-video free course on how do you squash procrastination in your life. Whatever the thing is, what are we doing in it? Well, we tell them what we want them to do. Enter your email address. It's an instant download. We're satisfying instant gratification. We're going to satisfy, get them interested. We're talking about something that they obviously want. This is going to do a lot better than subscribe to my weekly newsletter. No one wants your newsletter, but they do want, in this case, to boost their sales. So in anything that you're creating, that is a freebie, or that is even something that is low cost, we've always got to talk in the terms of everything that we just said inside of call to actions. This is how you move someone from being a website visitor to becoming someone who buys something. So what about that? Schedule a free complimentary coaching session with me. No one wants that. But I guarantee you, if you told someone that they were going to schedule a breakthrough session that will help you overcome your toxic beliefs, that might get somebody interested if that's who your ideal client was. Or like if it's somebody who's in sales, schedule a free session where you're going. I'm going to show you 3 breakthrough techniques that's going to boost your sales by 20%. Bam! Now that's something that I'm interested in doing if I'm in sales. What does it come from? It comes from doing your homework on your ideal client, which we started back weeks ago talking about choosing a niche. You do your homework on them, talk about things that they're actually interested in, and then hit all 5 of these things. Again, all of this is on replay. If you want to check it later, then you can find these things. Now, let me give you my call to action before you guys peace out of here, okay? Some of you have been watching for a couple of weeks. I understand you just got signed up for this email list. You're trying to figure out who we are, Life Coach Training Institute and Paul Dabdoub and all this other stuff. Well, let me tell you, we are not just an online school. We're not just some internet school where you can download a certificate or whatever. We are committed to coaching proficiency. We want to see you become a fantastic, amazing coach. And the coaches who get trained and certified are better coaches. And they're going to do better work with their people. That's why we actually believe in it. But having said that, becoming a successful coach as a business is not just walking around with a certificate, because you guys all know, if you just walk around with a piece of paper, same thing when you get your college degree. Did that guarantee success for you? It really didn't, unless you knew what to do with it. We're going to show you what you need to do with it. So when you enroll in our Jumpstart program, it's only $97 a month. Now here's the deal. I know compared to every program that's out there, costs thousands of dollars. And it's usually a convoluted process. You go on their website, you're confused. Here's the thing. It's a really good clue when you go on a life coach training website. If it's a convoluted process and you have no clue and you're confused when you go on there and you need to ask more questions and it just looks really expensive, well, that just shows you how you're probably not going to learn anything about business on there, right? And so we try to make this really simple. You don't need an MBA to start a coaching business, but there are steps that we take you by the hand and we walk you through. So in this program, for only $97 a month, not thousands, you do get trained and certified. You do get a certificate. We do host your credential. You do get a unique credential ID, and you do get a listing on lifecoachmatch.com. But let me cover some of the things that are also included. Tuesday live training. All of our programs are completely fully online and self-paced, but we also, for our Life Coach certification course, have live Tuesday training. It's 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific. That is 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And so we go live and we bring you through all 7 modules. As a matter of fact, if you enroll tomorrow, we're starting with session 1. They are rolling sessions, and you can see all the sessions that we do. So if you started in week 7, we would make our way back to session 1. Foundations of coaching, the anatomy of a dynamic coaching session, how to help your clients get extraordinary results, how to listen on a transformational level, how to ask powerful questions, how to establish a growing coaching practice. And we do have live coaching demos so you can practice coaching with other people and get feedback on it. And we have live Q&As at the end of each one of those sessions. That would normally be a $195 program that's worth thousands, but we include it in the Jumpstart program for only $97 a month with a 3-month minimum commitment. Next month, we have our weekend boot camp. It's March 17th through the 19th. And basically what boot camp does is it gives you everything from the Life Coach certification course rolled into an entire weekend. So you'll start on a Friday, you will end on a Sunday. Normally, people are paying $247 for this program, but it's included in the in our Jumpstart program. Jumpstart also includes Brand Camp. We give you 13 hours of training and step-by-step on how to do all of your marketing messaging. So the stuff that I've been giving you over the last few weeks, it's really high level. We go in great depth to show you how to write copy for your website, how to wireframe a website. What should you be including? How do you build out an effective website? How do you optimize it for search engines? How do you write an email? How do you write a sales page? In great detail, we go with calls to action, all of these other kinds of things. So all of this stuff is actually included in Brand Camp. We also give you the coaching product launch blueprint. What I always tell our coaches is that one-on-one VIP coaching should be one of your streams of income. It should not be your only stream of income. So some of you that are only thinking about coaching people one-on-one, well, there's only so much time and you're going to level yourself out. So what we always try to do is we're going to show you how to build wealth for your life and how to maximize your time and maximize the number of people that you help. So if you're wondering how do you do a course, how do you do a webinar, how do you do any of these things, how would you create a coaching product? What we do is that we bring you from brainstorming and we walk you from zero to launch tools for brainstorming, product ideas, website development, social media posts, and more, funnels. It's a 14-day product launch sequence that we give you so that you can be really successful. Not only all of this, but the core modules of Jumpstart, which are about 30 core modules that bring you from how do you discover your niche, how do you sell, how do you attract clients, everything. What's your weekly strategy as a business person? Not only do we give you all of that, but we also have a Wednesday group coaching call that I lead, but it's also joined by a lot of other aspiring coaches who are part of the program. They're brilliant people who are always serving one another, trying to help one another, because we're not competitive. It's like working with your colleagues, because I know what it feels like to start and no one understand what you're going to do. So we've thought of everything: training and certification, business development steps. We give you the A to Z on what to do, and we take you by the hand and give you personal support to help you do it, and a community of support that can help you make this happen. The link is inside the description. There's just no excuses. The only option that I had was spending thousands of dollars that I did not have and having to get as resourceful as I possibly could to try to make that happen. And I've told people, one of my certifications, to just make it work, to make it happen, I ended up scrounging together some flight points to take a flight all the way to the Bay Area. And then I got there and I slept in the airport because I didn't have enough money to stay in a hotel the first night. So I slept in the airport. I took a red eye, got there really late, slept in the airport. Then I took a shuttle that was $20 all the way to the closest destination I could to where my training was. The training was happening in a hotel ballroom, and I literally pulled my carry-on luggage all the way 3 miles, all the way to where the place was, got in, sweaty, basically wiped off in the bathroom, went to training all day, and then got free rides from people to the Roach Motel that was $60 a night for me to stay there. And then I got a free ride back to the airport from someone who had gone to the training from Canada, who had a bunch of money, and he just kind of dropped me off there. These days, it's much simpler. You don't have to go in the hole. You don't have to do all this crazy stuff. You can do it from home. I've been where you are. I understand what overcoming fear and your blocks and all this other stuff. This is why we've created the program like we have, because I've been there, and I want to take all your excuses and your fears out of the way. But I do need you to meet us where we're at. This is your call to action. You need to do something. When we look out there in the world, our numbers being called right now. We got to get out there and we got to help people. And also, we have to understand as well is that if we want to, not just barely make it, we're going to have to create income that we actually have control over, and not be running around and frantic every time something happens in the economy. Let's take control and let's do the things that we were called to do. Let me look at over here in the chat, say hello to a couple more people. There's Michelle. Hey, Michelle, over there in Texas. Romaine, who's joining us from DC. Does anybody have any questions? I'm like 30 seconds ahead of you, but I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions. I'm such a geek. You know what I'm doing tonight that I'm like excited about? I'm excited about like tomorrow I'm going to have a new mouse for my computer. Like I'm literally going to pick it up from like Best Buy or something tonight. I'm such a dork. I'm like, it's the small things for me. Like it's like a productivity thing. Like couldn't I have gotten a mouse a long time ago? But it's like, I'm going to get a new mouse and it's going to simplify my life. It's the small things. All right. Well, I'm going to assume that is everything. Listen, I appreciate all of you guys immensely. Make sure that you click on the link inside of the description, get enrolled tonight. And you know what? Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for week 1 of the Life Coach Certification course. Have a great rest of your week and take care.